Hey XRP fans, I got a couple bits of good news for you this Tuesday morning. We'll also talk price action because I got even more good news for you. And we're seeing some altcoin juiciness happen. And we're seeing traditional finance warm up to crypto. Gosh, where's all this good news coming from? And we're going to talk Genius Act. A little bit of issues going on with stablecoin yield, but we found a workaround. White House, do they like it? Well, who cares? Because guess what?
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Oh, look at all the good XRP stuff I got on the screen to share with you. We'll get into it. Before we do that, your comments come first because you, the viewer, matter most. What do we got for you today? Lionel Fort says, love the doggos. I got 3 myself. They're my kids. Yeah, my dogs are like my kids too. In fact, I see my dogs more often than I see my wife and my kids. Gotta love our furry friends. Let me know down below if you've got some doggos. Cat people, you better not comment. I'm allergic to cats. I'm not trying to throw shame. I'm just allergic to them. Trick's hanging out with us and says, if cash ever goes, it'll cripple the poor, and the days of the deal will be dead. Yeah, so for everyone out there that's like, oh, we're gonna bank the unbanked, dude, if you want to help the unbanked, help keep cash alive. There's a bunch of societies out there that heavily rely upon cash, and they need to keep that going. In fact, there's a bunch of societies out there that want to keep cash going. Let them keep cash, everyone. Bitcoin sitting at 114,156. ETH is 3634. There's been some rumors out there that there's going to be some big ETH sell-off action going on from the bigs, a little profit taking. XRP above that $3 mark. That's good. Litecoin at $123. We're going to talk some crypto action here. Let's get into it. All right, Coinbase and PayPal defend stablecoin rewards despite the Genius Act ban. This is very important because we're using the law to our advantage. All right, notably, one of the main clauses bans issuers from offering holders any forms of interest or yield, and this is what we want. We want interest or yield. According to legislators, this is intended to ensure stablecoins aren't treated as bank deposits, which benefit from federal safeguards. However, the law applies specifically to issuers, not to trading platforms or secondary market participants. This distinction has allowed some companies to design alternative reward structures that replicate yields without meeting the legal definitions of interest. Golf clap. See, this is why we need regs. Because once you make regs, you can find workaround ways. Taco Bell. Leveraging this gap, Coinbase and PayPal have continued their reward programs. Coinbase currently offers U.S. customers 4.1% annual rewards on USDC. People are like, bro, how do you make money on stables? That's how. With the juicy yield, girlfriend, you park your money there and you earn that money. Meanwhile, PayPal offers 3.7% per year on its PYUSD stablecoin through PayPal and Venmo. Both firms emphasize they're not official issuers of these stablecoins. For context, Circle issues USDC while Paxos issues PYUSD. Oh, so again, working around the laws. I got one for you, and I thought I would share this one because this is one of those scare articles, but we're going to cut right through it. Bhutan government moves 59 million in Bitcoin to a new wallet. Oh my God, 59 million? Who the fuck cares? We saw Mt. Gox move billions. We saw FTX billions. What is 59 million gonna do? Jack shit. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna move the fuck on. CME Group posts 21.9 million daily contracts in July. This is cool because we're talking about traditional finance getting into crypto. CME Group has reported an average daily volume of 21.9 million contracts for July 2025, making it the second highest July on record, following 24.8 million in July 2024. The month also set a new record for cryptocurrency trading with average daily volume of 302 contracts representing 13.6 billion in notional value. This is what we're talking about. Traditional finance getting into crypto, everyone. Look. One of the things that we wanted this whole time, right, is for the traditional players, the people out there that have thrown poo-poo at crypto, to start warming up to crypto. Now, look, I know a lot of them are getting into stables and a lot of them are getting into BTC and ETH and the boring stuff, but at least they're dipping their toes in the water, and it's like playing the game just the tip with the wife. You know, you play a little just the tip and maybe she lets you put a little bit more in. Across the portfolio, the company recorded strong performance in its interest rates, equity, and energy and metals products. Interest rate products led with an average of 10.8 million contracts per day. This included 3.3 million contracts in SOFR futures, up 3% from the previous year. This is good because we're seeing an active interest in everything. But what's really good, though, is we're seeing a massive interest in cryptocurrency trading. Oh yeah, by the way, everything you're seeing in this video and all my other videos are linked to where everyone in that description box down below. MEI Pharma acquires Litecoin, launches a $100 million institutional treasury strategy. Oh, don't worry, XRP fans. I've got you coming up next. Juicy good news. And I mean juicy good news. San Diego MEI Pharma Inc. today announced the acquisition of almost 100,000 Litecoin tokens at an average price of just over $107, successfully launching a major institutional treasury strategy with the LTC treasury now valued at approximately $110 million, as my dog is scratching and you can hear her collar jingling. See, I got doggies with me right now in here. In fact, I got one by the door over there and one right behind me. This strategic move, developed in partnership with GSR and guidance provided by Litecoin creator and MEI board member Charlie Lee, marks the beginning of MEI's broader institutional treasury. So now you got players getting into the Litecoin strategic reserve. Hi, sweetheart. Look, I got Leia hanging out with me. That being said, why is this important? Because we don't have the regs yet for the rest of the crypto market. And even though we don't have regs, people are getting into the strategic reserve assets for the rest of the crypto market. This is what we want. Now imagine how many more companies are going to get into strategic reserve assets of the crypto market once we actually do get the regs. We saw that with the Genius Act, right? As soon as the Genius Act happened, a bunch more players got into BTC. A bunch more players got into stables. A bunch more players, yes, got into crypto. What's the XRP news? Here you go. Pro Ripple lawyer reveals firms quietly adding XRP to their balance sheets via the SEC. That's right. They got to let them know. Corporate adoption of XRP is gaining traction following recent SEC filings that confirm strategic moves by major firms to hold the asset. Bill Morgan shared key findings from these filings showing growing interest. And remember, Bill Morgan's a little bit of a negative Nancy. So if Bill Morgan's positive, then it's good freaking news. In Form 10Q, remember, they got to file this stuff with the SEC. They go on to Edgar, and you can search that stuff. Flora Growth Corp declared ownership of XRP, Ethereum, and Solana. According to the company information on its website, the digital assets were purchased to reinforce its balance sheet. Hyperscale has also disclosed its approach to digital assets by a Form 8K filing. Nice. They hold some XRP. Another allied release dated May 28th of 2025 made the revelation that Alt Capital Group, a subsidiary of Hyperscale, may procure up to 10 million worth of XRP. Oh. Bill Morgan observed that firms have grown progressively more at ease with holding XRP in the wake of Ripple's regulatory clarity being established in the courts. And it's only going to grow once the case is finalized and we get the new version of the Clarity Act. Because the Clarity Act, the way it stands now, isn't going to work. They're going to have to build on top of it. So you're seeing a whole bunch more action happen. And check this out. This is what he's talking about. Here is the post right here. He's got a whole bunch of juiciness. If you want to read more about it, like I said, it's all linked in the description below. So good news for XRP holders as you're seeing more players get into the XRP strategic reserve pool. Now, overall for the crypto market, volume healthy, everyone. 147 billion in the last 24 hours, up 28% right now. Altcoins holding strong, 43 out of 100. I like that. Market cap 3.73 trillion. XRP on the 15-minute. Yeah, I got it up on the screen. It looks freaking good, doesn't it? We're seeing right now XRP hold. Now look at where that floor support came in. Look at that right there, right at the $3 mark on that candlestick. 299.59, baby. That's right. The market's reacting quite strongly to that $3 floor. This is exactly what I have been talking about. $3 floor for XRP, and we're printing them candlesticks one after another after another. Zooming out, what are we seeing? Yeah, we'll breach that 3, but guess what? We're bouncing right back up. This is just like the story we had with the $2 mark, where yeah, we'll breach it time and time again, but we bounce back up from that. Now, what do you think's going to happen to XRP's price once we get more of these companies buying XRP for their strategic reserve assets? We've seen what's happened with BTC as more companies have bought. It's brought what, everyone? Stability to the price of BTC. So we'll see more stability with XRP as soon as more players get into that. Now, what is it going to take? Well, it's going to take some regs. Right now, are we going to get the regs in the month of August? Fuck no. Why? Well, because the Senate's on vacation. Okay. So that means what? It's not going to happen in August, but we got a chance in September. And as more updates happen, I'll be sure to share that with you. So make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so that you are up to date on the juicy news, because XRP is building the floor and XRP is being built as a strategic reserve asset with a whole bunch of companies out there that are filing it with the SEC. And this is all before we get regaronis, you jabronis, on this rainy-ass Tuesday, which is better than a sweaty ballsack Tuesday, which we've had for weeks on end. Now, we really are seeing traditional finance warm up to crypto. And no, it's not the massive tsunami that people have been talking about on Twitter, right? Where they show that stupid wave picture and it's like coming in. No, it's coming in small chunks. But that's okay, because we know why that's happening. Because we haven't gotten the regs yet. And we saw this with stablecoins, right? There were some players getting in before the stablecoin regs. There were some players getting in as the regs were being written. There were some players getting in as the regs were being voted on in the House, and some players getting voted. You get my point. It comes in small waves, not in big floods. Even now that the Genius Act has been passed, there's still companies going, should we get into stables right now? And they're like, let's just do a little and a little and a little. So you're seeing it come in. And there's always people out there that are very cautious. And cautious money is honestly the most common thing in the markets right now. That's why gold is like the biggest thing out there. Gold is like the most cautious asset, and gold is like the biggest frickin' thing out there. So most people are very cautious. Now, that being said, we get a hybrid version of the Clarity Act out there. That's going to start bringing more money into the alts. It's going to start bringing more players in to strategic reserve assets. Hell, a year ago, I wasn't reporting about XRP strategic reserve assets or Litecoin or Solana or any of that stuff, and now I am. So the tides are definitely changing, and this is a lot of water references. I think it's because of all the rain that's happening out there. We've had like 4 or 5 days of straight rain. Either way, this is a good sign, because we're seeing traditional finance really warm up to the idea of crypto. And I know, it's not like crazy God candle, we're shooting straight to the moon, but that's not how this stuff works. Bitcoin didn't do that. Bitcoin didn't just go rocket ship to the moon. No, it's taken how many years for Bitcoin to work its way on up? And even during Bitcoin's move, it's had some times where it's pulled on down. So that's what the alts are going through right now. But they're growing, and the interest is growing. And in fact, even with the stablecoin bill that's going on right now, players are finding workarounds in order to offer juicy yield to people. And that's what we wanted with these regs. We wanted regs to be laid down so that even for the things that we're not big fans of, we can find workarounds, not reach arounds. I said workarounds. Just listen, okay? It's important, because once regs are laid down, we can work through them. But before the regs are laid down, we just work with executive orders, and those executive orders are weak because the next president can come in and just undo them. So hopefully when the Senate comes back to work after taking the month of August off, don't worry, I'm not taking the month of August off. I am going back on vacation though. Not in August or September. I'll let y'all know, because then the market's going to rally again. But for real, when the Senate comes back, hopefully they work on the new version of the Clarity Act. And when they do, I will keep y'all updated on that. We'll see how fast they get it done. And then we'll also see if we see more waves of money coming in for the alts. Choo-choo what? Choo-choo bitches. And yes, it's still raining out.